Third Shift by JakNekon. The mall is quiet. The kind of quiet you only get when lots of people leave. Even the cleaning crew's gone for the night, so it's just me and the shadows. It's the way I like it. Well, used to like it. I tap a finger on the desk, checking the clock again. How could this greenie be late on his first day? Never heard of making a good first impression? My heart jolts a bit as the buzzer sounds from the loading docks. Looking to the camera, lo and behold, Johnny Boy. Your average social media-raised high school dropout, kitted out in a fresh tie, fresh shoes, and a fresh shave. Look at that, he's even waving at the camera. I hit the intercom button. I see you, kid, hang on. I close the social app on my phone and hit the door buzzer, speaking over the shrill drone. Pull, kid, pull. That's it. Get in quick or the lock will get your ass. That's a boy. Just follow the signs to the security office. Just down past HR. As I release the buttons, I can hear the approaching squeak of his shoes on the linoleum. I wait for the door to open and instead get a double knock and a pause. Oh boy. It's unlocked. The door pops open and the kid steps in like he's about to give a singing telegram. Was I ever that perky about this job? At the beginning, maybe, but time has a way of tarnishing the shine a bit. I clear my throat. So, you're the new guy, huh? Well, welcome aboard, Johnny. The kid blinks so the smile stays in place. Well played. Actually, sir, my name's... Yeah, for now you're Johnny. It's nothing personal, it's not even a knock, just tradition. Oh. He's wrestling with that one in his head. So, when do I stop being Johnny? When I say so. I stand out of the chair and feel things protest up and down my back, drawing a grunt out of me. Okay, Johnny. So I'll be taking you through your duties, your first general patrol, show you the sign-in points, your station. I thought this was my station, sir. I noticed that sir added just a little late. Not yet, kid. Give it a few years and a few gray hairs and all this. I wave a hand at the bank of CCTV screens, the coffee pot, the box of cream buns, and the half-open toilet door. Can all be yours. While he digests that bit of good news, I open the locker and start holding items, my voice echoing in the metal interior. Flashlight, radio, mace, employee manual. I dog-eared the parts you need to worry about. List of radio channels and call signs, baton, badge, name tag, replacement name tag, replacement name tag. I pause to look back and take a moment to enjoy the juggling act. To his credit, Johnny doesn't drop anything. I give my fingers a snap like I just remembered something. I stick my head back in and come out with a thick piece of black leather with pouches for all the stuff I just handed him. Your belt. Ah, that little glare he gives puts life in me, I swear. As he wrestles the belt in place and starts holstering all the standard issue mall security gear, I can't help but remember my first encounter with Harry, back when I was Johnny, as he pulled the same thing with me on my first tour. Mr. Kensington, call me Harry. The old guard, the font of knowledge, my boss. Sorry, sir, who's Harry? Johnny's voice brought me back to the present, where I swear I could still smell the stink of the boss's aftershave. I look up at him and clear my throat. Used to be head man around here. Been gone about a year now. Most folks figure he left town. I adjust my own belt and put a hand on the door. You ready? He fumbles the last name tag into his pocket and gives me a salute I'm tempted to say is sarcastic. Yes, sir. Little smart aleck. In the hallway, our shadows start to press close and fill the space, only retreating when we push through the employee access to the main mall. Coming out next to the coffee shop and the maternity clothing store, I feel the kid shift and I know he's squinting. What's with all the lights? Trying to keep COVID away? I look back at him and remember he's still a Johnny before I answer. Makes people feel better after the disappearances. I keep walking and hear the squeak of gym shoes catching up. What disappearances? What disappearances? The years flow back on me. The first girl's sister, the first witness, looked like her world was collapsing. The last time she saw her sister was going to a changing room before going to get a smoothie. By the time she got back, the only sign the victim had been there was a broken bracelet on the changing room floor. I don't look back as I answer. They were in the news, newspapers. You probably didn't follow the story. There were a total of 3. 4, my mind whispers, rewinding on me again. The cops questioned the boyfriend of the second girl for hours, but they let him go. Couldn't find enough evidence to charge anyone. So they say. Lies, her ghost whispered. I snort softly. I know. Johnny pipes up. Know what, sir? I blink and shake off the years. Nothing. So, okay, here's first security sign-in. Just make sure we get up and do our rounds. Sign, time, and date. Pay attention, because tomorrow you're on your own. Johnny looks put out. You won't be here? Kid, you're going to be on the other side of this old ghost ship. I'm from the appliance place to the department store. You're in the movie theater to the juice bar. That's why we have... I pull the box from my belt. These. I waggle the radio at him. Oh. So when do we break or take dinner? I'm already hungry. Vending machines are right up ahead. Everything else is closed unless you brown bag it. Johnny squeaks his way to the nearest soda machine, past the tables and chairs, coins jingling in his pocket. I hear the click-clink, the button press, the sound of the can dropping hard. She fell? Are you serious? Harry shrugged, his tone as dismissive as the movement. That's what the cops say. I saw her body, Harry. She didn't fall from anything. She was... 2 heavy hands land on my shoulders. My boss of 4 months looked me dead in the eye. Kid, we gave our statements. The cops combed the whole mezzanine. They say she fell. Terrible thing, but it's done. He gave me my shoulder a pat that could break bone and shuffled off down the hall. You're not eating? Johnny Boy calls, taking a soda and sidling over to the next machine and his prize of fried pork rinds. Maybe later. Stomach's a little off tonight. Memory clawing at me. He cracks the soda can. So, you said 3 people disappeared? 3 women. And the accident, of course. He pauses mid-sip. What accident? I point up to the railing of the mezzanine above us. I know the spot by heart. Lady who worked in one of the shops up there. Best the police can find, she got in a hurry after closing, slipped on a tile up there, flipped the rail. My finger traces the root of her fall. Broken neck, right by the info booth. Damn, Johnny breathes. No offense, but I think this place might be cursed. I give a laugh that's not a laugh and motion to a table. Come on, we got time. Take a seat, finish up your pork rinds. The scrape of the chairs echoes through the empty halls, followed by the low crunch of fried rind. The other 3... Teenager vanished out of the dressing room at some shishi clothing store. A month later, another gal never came out of the restroom over by the theater. Last one was about a month after the accident. Last seen on a security camera heading for the parking garage. Then a panic call a day later from her family. Found her car, found her keys. I make a poof motion with my hands. Just gone. He stares at me for a solid minute, the whispers and the shadows filling the silence. And? His voice shatters the stillness. And what? Did they ever catch the guy? He prods, a little kid waiting for the fairy tale ending. The memory as clear as a snapshot and sharp as a razor. Harry? The cops had just finished up and left, the third missing girl's car taken to get pulled apart for clues. My shift was over and I'd never been happier to leave. Harry, you back here? I needed him to sign off on my timesheet, so of course he was nowhere to be found. I sighed and leaned on his desk, looking over the stuff covering it without actually focusing on anything, until the little thing peeking out under the desk blotter. It was shiny, plastic, like a laminated card of some kind. I could just make out the top corner of a picture. My hand inched forward to tug at it. I know that face. I've been staring at the other pictures of it all evening. It looks like her driver's... The door opened behind me, and with a guilty surge I flicked it fully under the blotter, half turning to find Harry standing in the doorway. For a moment his brow furrowed. Thought you'd be headed home, kid. I forced myself to swallow and hold up the timesheet, barely remembering why I was supposed to be in there. Need your autograph. He stared, then nodded, brushing past me to sink into his chair. For a moment his eyes flicked back and forth, trying to find a pen, or trying to see what wasn't there. I slid the paper in front of him, and with a smile that didn't reach his eyes, he signed it. Have a good night, kid. I wanted to say you too, but all I could manage was a nod before I forced myself to walk slowly out. I blinked back in the now, Johnny still watching me with greasy fingers and curious eyes. No, I don't think they ever caught him. Nothing came from that brief encounter in Harry's office, but things did change. I started following Harry's paths, sometimes by camera, sometimes by checking his sign-ins, once or twice by staying out of sight and watching him. He was, for all intents and purposes, perfectly friendly, polite, but I knew something was off about him. We weren't close, we didn't have beers after work or play sports on our days off, so maybe I wasn't sure what normal was for him. But there was a hollowness in his eyes sometimes, a hunger when he watched people that I never noticed before, and now I couldn't miss it. Sometimes it felt like there were whispers in the back of my head, barely heard, yet urging me to be careful, begging me to keep following. And then came that night, that terrible night. Harry's shift was done, clocked out, put on his coat, headed out the door. Then an hour later he's on camera, heading through a back hall toward one of the storage areas. I figured by now Mr. Third Shift, would be over in vending, choosing between the licorice and corn chips. Too bad for him I brown bagged it. I probably should have called the cops, or the main office, or whoever handles this kind of nightmare. Instead I grabbed my baton, my radio, and hurried through the main mall as a shortcut. The back halls were barely lit, but enough I couldn't risk the flashlight, especially if I wasn't entirely sure what to expect. I pressed my ear to the door of the end of the hall, listening. Someone was moving in there, the shuffle of feet trying not to be heard. Be careful, her whispered voice warned, even as I gave the door a soft push, praying for oiled hinges. A single rusty squeak feeling like a horn blown in the dark. The hulking shadow in the middle of the storage room turned, and for a moment I thought about reaching for my baton. But this close I'd barely get the holster unsnapped, forget extending it. After an endless moment he spoke. Never heard of minding your own business, huh, kid? I don't understand. No, you do. I don't know when you figured me out, but you started watching me, didn't you? Yeah. Funny thing, when you started watching me, that's when I figured I'd better watch you. He moved, and now I could see one of his hands, a box, just the right size for driver's licenses, jewelry, or other little trophies. Harry's voice oozed sickening pride as he gave the box a little shake. Did you kill her? I was surprised how steady my voice was, a strong hero's tone coming from a quaking coward's mouth. I wanted to run, but my legs stopped listening. Her? Oh, kid, you're gonna have to be more specific. The little lady in the changing room? The dame at the theater? Miss Garage? Or do you mean... Watch out! The whispered warning came too late as a hammer-like fist hit my midsection, sent me back into the hall. As I gulped air like a landed fish, my hand fumbled the catch on my belt, pulling the baton and trying to extend it behind my back. My thoughts scrambled in my brain as his heavy boots started forward again. Why didn't I mind my own business? I could have just... what? Ignored it? Watched more women disappear? Or worse? He was whistling. What's that song? The ants come marching one by one. Hurrah, hurrah. My brain seized on one solid thought. He's gonna kill me. I squeezed the baton and swung as hard as I could, catching the box in his hand and sending it crashing to the floor, the lid snapping open and spilling its terrible secrets. What happened next was insanity. Pure, straight insanity. The shadows behind him shifted and writhed, and a set of hands, 2, 3, 4 sets clamped down on his arms and shoulders. All I could do was stare as Harry was hauled back into the now lightless storage room, his screams of, "What the hell? What the hell?" getting louder as the whispers turned to shrieks, the hallway echoing as the door slammed shut, cutting off one last guttural scream. I sat for a long moment and slowly stood, reaching for the door. I didn't want to see what was in there. Yes, I did. I didn't have the words for it then, and maybe don't now, but imagine what it might look like if someone took a body and folded each finger, each limb, each bone from the toes to the hip to the ribs to the neck in the wrong direction, over and over and over, leaving something reminiscent of a large origami frog. Hell it is, I whispered to no one. Hell it is. Goodbye, Harry. I have no idea who the one that spoke to me is or was. Maybe the accident he wasn't able to hide. Maybe one of the 3 girls. They're probably all dead and buried now, somewhere known only to the madman who put them there. If I'd been faster, more on the ball. But Harry was gone. The trophies, too. Personal things that were never his, back with their rightful owners. I don't know how I made it out of the hall or to my car. I barely remember coming in the next day. Never spoke to anyone about that night, and when the cops asked about Harry, I just shrugged. I didn't know him after all, and people pack up and leave all the time. Hoo-hoo. Hello, boss. I blink and Johnny Boy is there. The past is still hidden, and the present is watching me with concern. You spaced out there, sir. I rub a hand across my face. It's the night shift. Give it a few weeks, you'll do it too. Sleeping with your eyes open. Oh, fun. So much to look forward to. That gets a chuckle out of me, then I stand up, the shriek of the chair sending a chill down my spine. Come on, break's over. Let's finish getting you settled in, and you can break those damn squeakers of yours in. I get him up and show him the rest of the sign-in spots, bathrooms, doors to check, get him to his station. I'd love to say it's uneventful, but as I walk back through the mall toward my own office, I feel the chill on my neck. I don't turn, don't slow, but I know she's there. Maybe she always will be. Beware of Johnny. The voice speaks and my entire body hears it. I sigh, resting a hand on my baton. She hasn't led me wrong yet.